You have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
Hello, thank you for coming again to a new episode of Monster Manor. Yeah, we're still working out the technical difficulties, so we appreciate we'll fix it in editing. But anyway, tonight I have a rare opportunity to speak with a good friend of mine, and a lot of the people that come in, we know him from shows and stuff like that. But the guest tonight is actually a personal friend of mine, who we've collaborated several times on projects, and he's one of my closest friends, and I'm so proud of what he's done with his career. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So without further ado, I introduce to you my good friend, Marc Draven with a C. Marc Draven.
I've been unmuted. Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
It's cool seeing you like this. I know most times you're actually here in Monster Manor, and this is a little bit different because you have been a busy man this weekend already.
Yep. It's been a bit of running around the last few weeks. We were in Chicago last week, but also in Miami last week. We were working both Chicago Fan Expo and SuperCon. And then the week prior, where was I the week prior? I feel like I was in Dallas lately. It's a blur. Coming up, we've got Chicago again, Boston, Seattle. I get to the airport to check in and they ask me where I'm going, and I have to pause for a minute to remember where I'm going.
Yeah. Well, you're all over the place. I know that even recently you went to a huge show, which a lot of our fans are probably well aware of, Celebration, which is a huge show as well. And you got to bring your son and everything. So that was kind of a cool experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was the first show he got to stay with me the whole weekend versus just coming in and visiting for a couple hours. Yeah. And I don't think the kid has any reality as to what, how hard it is to get into some of those panels, or, what the grind is to get into some of the events. And of course, the first one he comes out with, we get to see the opening ceremonies. We got to see John Williams perform live as a surprise. Ewan McGregor, every Favreau, Filoni, Harrison Ford, like everybody. Yeah.
Holy moly.
So we were like third row, right-hand stage. And Harrison walked out from the right hand of the stage. So we didn't really catch the fact that he was coming out because we're looking at the center of the stage.
Yeah.
So then I catch him out of the right of my eye, and everybody blows up, in the crowd. And this stadium was packed. There was no spaces available for anybody to sit. And I'm telling Noah, I'm like, that's Harrison Ford. And so he's just, he thinks this is the norm, like, of what we do every weekend we're out on town, or, out of town.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was a great experience. He had a couple key moments with some of the people that he watched on TV, like Ewan McGregor. And Tamora Morrison, that plays Boba Fett and Jango Fett. He went to dinner with us, and so he's taking pictures and sending pictures to his little friends, and he's 13, so that's the coolest thing in the world if they are into Star Wars.
Yeah, and he is, because he was raised right.
Don't let Tori hear you. That she's going to try to convert him into a Trekkie.
Oh, can't we just be both?
We could both. Well, she calls it bi-fi, so yeah, I think that's That's a safe bet. Both Trekkie and Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much the same way. I like both.
Yep.
One's definitely a little more cerebral than the other, but I love them both.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So backtracking a little bit, because this is you've laid out this incredible life that you lead from day to day, and this is our day job. Where did it start, man? I mean, you grew up in the 80s around the time I did as well, and I know G.I. Joe was a big part of your life, and Star Wars. What was it like being young Marc Draven?
Well, that's a loaded question. So, of course, I grew up with the same toys that you did in that time frame. So it was G.I. Joe's, Star Wars. I had some Transformers, but it wasn't really a top. They weren't very playable, and they were, as much as I love the cartoon. Like, so now I find myself collecting the stuff that looks more like the cartoon versus what looked like G1 Transformers.
Yeah.
And then getting further into it and then starting to buy collections and then reselling stuff or going to Toys R Us. So we had a whole circuit. So we go to Toys R Us, then we go to Kmart, then we go to another Toys R Us, we go to Kitty City, KB. We'd spend a whole day just traveling out to see what we could find. And I ended up getting into the ear of a rep over at Hasbro on their WWF Hasbro line. And we just got to talking about that. We got to talking about, he was also working on the new, I got to figure out where my fingers are on this camera. The new Power of the Force 2 Star Wars introduction, when they reintroduced Star Wars figures again.
Yeah.
Because they kind of took that sabbatical from the late 80s to the early 90s.
Yeah.
So another long story short, I told them that I was making and sculpting wrestling figures that they had not made yet in their lines. And he said, "Ooh, really? Yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." Well, sure enough, like 6 months later, they introduced that they were going to make some of those figures that we had talked about with similar actions. And, of course, they did do head sculpts on it, but the body types were all, they definitely went ahead and followed that track. But it seems like it doesn't matter if I was a teenager or now, it seems like there's toy companies that are enjoying my intellectual properties licensing or ideas. Huh?
I know of one very, very well.
Very much so.
Oh, man.
But
that's the thing about good ideas, though, is that they take them no matter what.
Well, and it kind of sparked a new interest for it, too, because then I wasn't only just a collector, but I kind of was the idea guy also. But like many, we were talking, I started tattooing professionally before I was 21.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to toy shows on the days that I could avoid having to go to the shop and work at the studio. And then that kind of snowballed into the thought of, all right, how do I do both? How do I go toy shopping and tattoo at the same time? And it doesn't seem like it's that hard to figure out now, but at the time nobody had done it, but going to tattoo at the Comic-Cons, at these entertainment shows. And we haven't turned back. It's been 15 years, that we've been doing that. So we went from just myself as a single artist at MegaCon in Orlando and FX in Orlando to now we've got 200 artists plus in our database worldwide, artists from London, Wales, Germany, Italy, Australia, to Ohio, that faraway land of Ohio.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real cool thing because I don't know if we made tattooing cool at like the everyday collector or if we made collecting cool to the everyday tattooer. So
yeah, probably both.
Because everybody was in the closet. They were afraid to be like, I'm a nerd. I like geeky things. Like it was just when I grew up in the industry, it was like, bikers, and it was still the typecast of bikers and sailors and but the reality is most of our clientele are all professionals. There's nurses, doctors, lawyers, judges, to toy designers and people that are working for Lucasfilm, we're working for Marvel, DC. We've got a pretty eclectic group of fan base and clientele, as well as the shows that we're doing that has all that wrapped up into it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that you probably were very instrumental in bridging that gap for sure. Because our paths kind of always went in orbits, but I knew of you, and we had so many friends that we were mutual friends of, but it really wasn't until the Stan Lee project that it was like we got together, and that was the beginning of all this zaniness.
The Stan Lee project was like, I want to say groundbreaking for me, because I had wanted to do licensed product. But the collector in me didn't want to do 5,000, 10,000 pieces of it, because I wanted to do something that was more sought after. So the Stan Lee figure, there had been several different stands made prior to that, but not in that scale. And that's the only one that Stan had his finger on the entire project.
Right.
So, there's been other companies that have tried to come up and do it after me in the same size format and the same style, but none of them had Stan saying like, okay, that hair, I need my hair darker here. I don't wear brown shoes. I wear, black shoes, or, like I wear this or I wear that. And, can you take 10 years off of me? 10 years off of Stan at the time, he still looked like Stan for, he looked the exact same way for 30 years. So,
yeah.
Even before he passed, he still had a good head of hair. But no, it was neat, because regardless of who tried to bite the idea off of me, you and I know that was Stan's involvement with that versus just somebody else doing it, with a license agreement from another company he didn't even discuss it with.
Yeah.
Or he had already passed away and they were making it after he passed. So
yeah.
I try to hold on to that, just that there was still some originality to it, and hopefully then that'll hold true with the figure line. I mean, we only made 200 pieces. That's all I do for each of my lines, as you know, as my sculptor and my master of all sculpting. That with the 200 pieces, I think I probably have 50 or maybe 60 pieces left. The good thing is half of those are signed. So if somebody needed a signed piece, I've got those in stock. And then that Stan figure launched into, we did the Robert Englund. We did the Rico Browning. And we did the newly introduced Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
And again, every one of these actors has their finger on the dial for these. They pick the color of the outfits. They tell me what clothing they like to wear. Robert's got his signature scarf. I don't know if you have a picture on that, but I can pull it out of here. So he, even down to the way that his scarf is tied.
Yes.
Which it's very, I don't know how well you can see it without being blurry.
Yeah.
But anyway, people get the gist of it. And he's making a signature face.
I know we got a little bit of pushback from that originally, didn't we?
Yeah, I was talking to one of his agents, and they said that they thought it was going to be silly and that he would not go for it with that face. And I said, that's his signature face. Like,
yeah.
So then taking it to the main agent, the Hollywood agent, he's also a Hollywood lawyer. So it's nice to be able to have the agent also with telling me the legalities and what we can do to make it work. He was totally on board. He said, absolutely do it. So Robert hadn't seen it before we went to Colorado Springs Comic-Con. So he was there, and I brought the mock-up that you and I put together. And he was walking by, and I just held the figure up and said, "Robert, I've got your mini me." And he stopped and he came over and he's like, "That's amazing. Like that. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. Like I think the only thing he said was, can we make a little pair of Doc Martens?" I don't think we're going to be able to pull that off, but
that was his big suggestion.
That was the only thing he could pick apart of the whole thing, and was that that, and that we didn't have him dressed in corduroy, but when I was giving him different options on what we could dress him in, if he wanted jeans, if he wanted corduroy, if he wanted turtlenecks to t-shirts to what kind of jackets he likes. So yeah, he's been great. The entire time he's been great. So when we do shows together, he's been fully supportive of it. Stan was fully supportive of it. But where Robert is, like, he's excited about it. Like every time he sees it, he's super excited about it. The only thing that I think he said lately, when we showed him the mock-up for the 6-inch idea, and he's like, every time I see these figures, they look more and more like you, Mark. And I've had people every show ask me if I'm his brother.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be, blushing or thankful, or
I would take it as a compliment, I guess.
I think so. He's one of those guys that gets better looking as he gets older. Yeah. He's like the Sean Connery of horror. We'll go with that. I like that title.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, and he was recently in Stranger Things, and I think it's like the first time he's been in a makeup role in some time, and he just knocked that out of the park. I mean, if there's anyone that could be even more scary and creepy than Hannibal Lecter, he was in that role. Yeah,
and it was a small part, but it made a lot of impact to it.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been the same without him. Oh yeah, producer lady is saying the guy that they chose to play the younger version of him in that. No spoilers, but he would make an excellent, maybe handoff to the new Robert or the new Freddy Krueger. I know that they're talking about that, but I just can't see anyone other than Robert Englund in that makeup.
No, it's big shoes to fill, and they tried and it failed. Yeah. And it's no discredit to Early, right?
Jackie Earle Haley, yeah.
Nothing to take away from him, because he was great as Horseshack. Hell, he was great all the way back to the Bad News Bears.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you're preaching to our crowd now, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, but just, it's like the guy that came in to play Han Solo, the young Han Solo. They didn't have a chance. Like, he did a really good job in trying to get the afflictions down, like everything that Harrison does. But the fact of the matter is, you're going up against a huge wall of, pushback from people before they even see the movie. Yeah. But I think he did a good job. I think he deserved, more credit than what he got out of it.
Yeah. And that was such a mixed bag from the beginning, from the director's issues in the beginning to, I still don't think Disney really knew the direction that they wanted to put that in. But I feel bad for the guy, because he didn't slouch on the acting. It was rough times.
Yeah. Well, I've heard rumbles of possible TV shows to pick up where they left off, and they killed the movie thought off, but I think they were talking about TV show stuff.
Yeah. So going back a little bit to the your involvement in tattooing, because this is something I want people to understand. It's not like you just show up at these shows and you walk in and you're the tattoo guy. These are major shows that you're in, and for your ability to get, say, Celebration, which is obviously one of the biggest, you're licensed with Lucasfilm and everything. So I mean, that's a major accomplishment, and you're in so many of these shows. And you still do tattooing. That's the thing, is that you haven't rested on your laurels. You travel all over the place, and then you still do tattooing.
You have to tell your art director over there that she's showing a Star Trek logo when we're talking about Star Wars. I think that's like crossing swords.
Yes.
So we know one Trekkie, they'll be happy with that. So yeah,
I like that image too myself.
We are the first ones licensed by Lucasfilm to do actually licensed tattoos, Star Wars inspired tattoos at the conventions. And since that image just showed, we're also the first ones that have approval from Star Trek and Paramount to tattoo at the Star Trek missions shows, which Chicago was this year. Next year is going to be Seattle, where Repop runs that show as well. And that is in the same location, I believe, is where they do Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh, man.
It's
it'll be a busy boy.
I'm trying to brush up on my Star Trek so I know more. Like, because we spent our whole lives like, oh yeah, I remember everything from the original show. I remember everything from Next Gen. Then I go back and watch Next Gen. I'm like, God, I don't remember any of this, and there's a reason, because it's hard to get through some of those first seasons.
Oh yeah,
but you still remember the characters, you still remember the actors that played it, and so right now I am being trained in, Lower Decks. I think we're caught up on. I need to start Strange New Worlds. I'm trying to get my kid to watch the movies, and I think we watched the first one, and he was just like, eh.
Oh boy, yeah, that one's hard to get through. The motion picture, I assume you're talking about.
No, the newer ones, the J.J. Abrams.
Oh, J.J. Abrams. Yeah, they're a little bit better. They're a little more exciting.
Yeah, they're more up to date.
Yeah.
So he's old enough now where he can start watching things that are a little bit more explosive and even language. We watched The Rock with Nicolas Cage the other night, and I said, all right, well, it's rated R, but he's old enough to handle. I forgot how much cursing was actually in that movie, but it's such a good movie. He loved it.
Yeah, that one was iconic.
But yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek, definitely two of our biggest claims, and staples in the industry for both tattooing and for, the Comic-Con industry. And our average attendance for shows, the conventions that we're doing, average attendance is about 60,000 people. When we started doing this, average attendance was like 3,000 or 5,000 people. And that was, that was what was considered to be a big show 15 years ago. And then when it started to get to 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, I think our MegaCon was 140,000 people this past show. That's a lot of people. You couldn't see concrete. We were standing in our booths and looking in the aisleways, and there was so many people packed in there. You couldn't see the ground they were walking on.
Right. And it's amazing because, this is the bounce back after 2 years of relative calm. I guess people are just ready to get out there and enjoy things again.
Yep. So, during COVID, the toys were doing really well. We were fortunate enough to we'll give your friend Kelly up there a cheap pop with Toy King.
Yeah. So Kelly from Vintage Toy King. Yes, Kelly Leslie, if you're watching, hello.
Yeah, we got some great autographs from him, and then we used those for items to sell on my claim page while we were all stuck home. Tattoo studios were shut down. We weren't allowed to go to work. We weren't allowed to travel. We weren't allowed to do much of anything. But no, we got some great stuff from him. I cleaned my house. So I found all these toys. I'm like, I haven't even seen this for 10 years. So I guess it's okay if we sell it. And everybody was loving it because I was selling it dirt cheap, like way under market value, but I didn't care. Like it was entertainment. We all had fun doing it. They got great deals on it. So folks like Kelly had given me great deals on it to begin with, to be able to buy it cheap, sell it cheap. So that's what I like doing, is just bulk volume. And with our line, with only 200 pieces, we don't have to worry about sitting on a warehouse full of product.
Yeah.
I think our latest exclusive was the official Madball action figure Hornhead variant, which looked, there we go. That is my spin on a homage to My Pet Monster.
That's definitely appealing to our audience.
Yeah, we only did 1,000 pieces total, and we sold out of the online inventory within the first 12 hours. Then I'm watching your comments pop up. George Joseph, who's also one of our graphic designers that does all our shirt designs and everything, is chiming in with us. But anyway, squirrel, what? So the My Pet Monster sold really, really well. Of course, we couldn't call it that because Hasbro would have a conniption with it.
Right.
So we just kept, there was enough differences, obviously, if he's only got one eyeball and a horn on in the middle of his head versus the sides.
Right.
That was our first mass produced product that went, it went further than just my reach out with selling these figures. It shows directly. So we've got another one in the project, or another project in the works. We're trying to decide between 3 different looks. I won't give anything away yet because we're still trying to decide, but it'll be a howling good time.
Oh, cool. Maybe a little hint there.
I mean, soft landing, huh?
Yeah.
Jeremy, we do have stuff. If you just email me through Instagram or whatnot, you could just reach out and let me know what you want. The one thing that we've realized over the last few years is websites and website stores are a lot of maintenance to keep up with and a lot of constantly refreshing and updating and whatnot. And we're not home enough to be able to keep up with all that. It's just been crazy nonstop. But if there's any questions you have, feel free, contact me. I'll answer anything you got. If you want whereabouts, like if you're purchasing a signed piece, then like there's an example of one of the Robert Englund signed pieces. This was signed at Rhode Island Comic Con. I want to say it was 2019. This is actually one of one because we didn't go ahead with the production line of him with the purple shirt and the gloves on. It's kind of more like a hitman looking Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. style.
Right.
And
I remember that one.
So, and he signed that one at MegaCon Orlando. And they have certificates of authenticity. We have a couple different versions of the Rico Browning. This one, I was just kind of playing around with the idea, being in the full creature suits. And since it's a Rico Browning figure and not a creature of the Black Lagoon, you're focusing on the head sculpt, which is phenomenal. I think, Scott, you had one picture that was good enough to try to work from of Rico in that time frame. So, and you did a great job with it.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that was a passion project for me too, because he's one of my favorites, as you know. And doing Gillibration and you being able to come to Gillibration to sell those there, that's a good memory too.
No, it was a good time. It was a fun show. I enjoyed that. I wanted to go swimming in the lake though behind us.
Yes. They are opening that up, from what I understand, to some diving that you can do there, but I'm not sure how fast that's going to be.
Is it diving or snorkeling?
Snorkeling under there and checking it out and being able to go in there like a Springs. But they've been talking about it for a while, but I think they were worried about protecting the environment there because, as anyone knows, they have Greek statues sunk in there, and they've left a lot of it in there that was there during this filming back in the 50s.
Okay.
So, I mean, it would be interesting to see what they would have to do with that and move that stuff. And plus, they've got like canoes, Indian boats that are down in there, Native American boats that are in there that are, they've been removed and restored. So if they have people swimming in there, you don't want them destroying that history either.
Right.
But they do the canoeing. So, yeah, as Miss Amber has said before, producer lady, we got to get together someday, and Noah comes up as well, and we go, canoeing on the river there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it is. It's an awesome place, and I mean, I even like going there, even though it's not a theme park anymore. It's still cool to go down there, and the glass bottom boats are still running, and The paths, the nature paths are really cool. We're hoping to eventually bring a MonsterCon back there. It wasn't conducive to doing it again before now because of the pandemic. It was our intention to do a year 2 and 3 for the other creature films, but it couldn't happen, in that environment. But maybe someday we'd like to do that.
It's almost cooler that it's not a theme park now. Like,
yeah,
it kind of makes it more like, like you're digging through history instead of digging through, amusement rides and
right.
Drink carts every 5 minutes, or
oh yeah, less commercialized anyway. Yeah, the $8 churros and everything, but it's a lot more peace down there. And I mean, it's really nice coming from the standpoint of the kid that went there because he was in love with the home of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Between there and Wakulla, I still love going down there.
Yeah, cool. And then I do have some signature series on, we'll call this the Lance Henriksen Tory project.
Yes, that's the newest one, really, right?
This is the newest one, and that head sculpt, again, it's hard to tell with the reflection. The good thing about these figures is the clamshells open up. So if you wanted them to sign the face of the package, they could do that. But, this is a signature one, in fact. Or you can open it up, remove the cardstock from the figure, and you can see Lance sign that one already. He likes signing it up behind the figure on purpose because he says it's an Easter egg. And I'm like, yeah, but I think people might want to see it with the figure packaged. He's like, no, this is so much more fun. Well, it's Lance, so it's going to be so much more fun. I can't do a Lance impression. I'm sorry. That was horrible. So the look is definitely like towards Pumpkinhead, and between Pumpkinhead and Millennium, I think would probably be the best description of that. And again, he approved everything. His fingers on the pulse of what we're doing. And he's just amazed. Like he wasn't sure that people were going to gravitate towards them when we sold them in Texas together for the first time, 2 weeks ago. And he was just absolutely, flabbergasted by it. So.
Yeah, and he was one. I mean, I was really, really nervous about Stan Lee and of course Robert Englund, but he was the one that I was most worried about. I don't know. He just always struck me as stern dad. So I was terrified that he was gonna, and he's an artist himself. So I was like, oh, God, I hope he doesn't tear this apart.
No, he had the one input he put was put some more life in the face, which if anybody's got life to their face, it's Lance Henriksen. Yeah. So I just took different pictures with different lighting, and he's like, oh, that's awesome. Actually, I think he said that's effing awesome.
Yeah.
And then, do it. And then you and I had to hurry up and make a dozen before, the end of the week that week.
Oh yeah. That was Texas Frightmare.
Yeah. You were,
that was a busy week.
You were painting till all hours in the morning, huh?
Yeah. But I can't say it was a chore, man. I mean, when you get to, that's the thing about what we do is it's stressful, but also when you get to sit there with little, Lance Henriksen heads and paint them and know that you're not doing this because I've done it for both. I've done it for the big companies that makes 10,000s of these things. And then I've done it for you. And those 200 mean so much more because they're also directly with the person that it represents. These are licensed, and as you said, you go through the process, you pick the clothes. It's more, to me, it's more organic and more living. So I just love working on those projects. Every time you call me up and say, we got another one, I'm like so excited. And you've teased me with a couple. I know we can't talk about them, but you teased me with a couple that I was like, son of a.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is the way that you're able to paint these is so detailed versus the companies that are making 10,000 units and they lose half of the personality that you paint in the original master. And then by the time it gets to retail, it looks like some Chinese knockoff that, doesn't do it justice. Can we say Chinese knockoff?
We'll probably get canceled, but that's what they are known as, though. When you used to get those, they were like the dollar store things, and we've all seen them. They've had, all sorts of different knockoffs through the years.
Yep.
But and it's still a problem. I mean, people that NECA is one of them that has kind of the worst time of it because they announce a figure and say, oh, it'll be out in October. And it's like by September, they're already having the ones on Ollie and stuff for $15. And Hot Toys is the same thing, the Hot Toys knockoffs and everything. So, it's a reality. I mean, we deal with it as manufacturers and toy people. And, that's, again, a reason to like the toys that I do with you even more because that they are 100% authentic. I mean, I've had people ask me, you literally have to paint every one of those 200 heads. Yeah.
But that's what makes it special too. It's like everyone gets an artist proof.
Yeah.
None of it's mass produced. It's all done by hand and, assembled. Nothing gets sent out overseas. So, no, it works out good. We do all the art design for the Stan Lee. Marc Hammermeister was the artist that did the original art for the Stan card back. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, that was too.
He did the caricature.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, he did a great job on it. And that was my introduction to Marc. We'd never worked together before that. And then we pulled the image up and we used it for advertising because there was no trademark on it or copyright or anything. And then his wife sent me an email that was tearing me a new one saying, that's my husband's work. I'm like, well, let's get him on board here. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude. Yeah. So then we included him in everything. So we done a few things together. We worked a couple shows together. So it made for a good new friendship. The Robert England card back, that is from our friend James Hance.
Yeah, that's another one. He captured the essence of that actor, man.
And James is such a master. You could give him a bloody chicken foot and a dirty napkin, and he could paint a masterpiece on it.
Yeah.
He probably knocked this out in one night. And
unreal.
Probably half the night. He's got if he doesn't finish it the first night that he gets into it, then it goes to the wayside and then he gets onto something else. So he also did the Rico card back. So if people look closely to it, you can see it's got his face and then a little creaking highlights here and there.
Yeah. Because again, this was a Rico figure, not a Gilman figure. So
correct.
That was a beautiful homage. I remember when you sent me that first photo, and said, check this out. I was like, oh, that is, because that augments the figure well, and the figure augments the art well. I mean, you're the art director, so kudos to you too for, bringing it all together, man.
I just got to work fast sometimes.
Yeah.
Scott, quick. We need a dozen heads done.
Yeah.
And then on the Lance head, that's actually, it looks like a photograph, but it's an actual painting. It was a digital painting of him. You can see maybe some of a
little bit more than human.
Yeah. That was done by Dave Nessler. So we'll probably go ahead and paint a new one, maybe for him, just because, me, I like everything original. I can appreciate digital paint, but I'm definitely more of a fan of having something tangible in my hand. I ventured out one time. Tori's going to make fun of me forever. I bought a Star Trek Enterprise cargo ship at the Star Trek convention. It was the NFT. I'm like, whatever, I'll treat it like a stocks or Wall Street kind of thing, and I'll just throw caution to the wind. And I didn't believe in them before, and I don't believe in them now.
Yeah.
It's we were supposed to get actual like 3D print models of our ships after the fact, but I haven't heard anything from that company that was doing that. So as you know, I like the whole process. I mean, selling the toys is fun, but the process of making them is the passion. I enjoy everything from what you pull off at the wax sculpting Still blows my mind. I can't do that. I can't even sculpt a Christmas cookie, let alone a portrait, or a headshot that looks like somebody. But
yeah, I always love seeing your expressions when you see them and you hold them in your hand and you're like, oh, yeah.
I'm a little kid.
Yep. Yeah. But you know what, man? People like us need that. I talk about it all the time. In this world, it's going to beat you down. You have to hold on to your inner Willy Wonka. And that's just one way we do it, is we play with the toys. We feel how they work, the articulation, all of that stuff. And, it's a great experience, inspiration to me, seeing some of that stuff. And, having had worked on several of the figures with you together, that's some of the best memories I have in this industry.
Good. I'm glad I was a good one and not a bad one.
Oh yeah, and I mean we've been friends now ever since Stan Lee, and that I can't say the same for some.
Some of the other people, not of our line, but some of the other people that we've come across in the industry.
Oh yeah, because there have been others that have been. It's more the same, the promises and this and that, and you find out the shady deals. And that's another thing. If you say that there are only 200 pieces, there are only 200 pieces. That isn't inflated and we got another 500 that are in this warehouse. No, they're 200 pieces.
Yep.
We know other people that do that.
Yes. Yeah.
What the producer say?
We know other people that have done that.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that.
No names.
No, but it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. And it hurts everyone's credibility because that's what they assume now, that everyone is going to be like that. And you are one of the good guys. And what you say is absolutely true. And all the people that you've brought into our circle have also been that way. I mean, you don't bring people in that aren't legit,
We try. We've been very fortunate to work with some great talent, not only with the tattoo artists, but with the actors and whatnot also. Sean Astin just came over last weekend and got tattooed at the pavilion. So
Sean Astin, wow. That's cool.
He just popped over. And he was funny. He was busting my chops. I've known him for years, but I've never tattooed him. And then I was away at a meeting. I came back to the pavilion and he's sitting in one of my other guys' chairs.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sean, what are you doing? You're cheating on me. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'll give you the next one. I didn't know you were how long you were going to be gone for.
Yeah.
So Gary Parisi, very talented artist. He did it. It took him more time to get it centered on his ankle and to get everything exactly to Sean's liking than it did to actually do the tattoo.
Yeah.
So then the next day at the show, I went to go talk to Billy Boyd, who was next to Sean Astin, but a couple tables away. And all I hear behind me is, "About time you come over and see me, Mark."
Oh God.
Sean yelling at me. So
you want to hear a weird connection that we have with Sean Astin?
Sure.
Is when I did the robot chicken heads, because I did a bunch of those.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that he voiced the Gallagher figure?
Did he really?
For Robot Chicken? Yeah. Next time you see him, you'll have to give him a hard time, because I was doing the research. I thought it was Gallagher, and I'm friends with Leo Gallagher on Facebook. And I was like, did he do the? And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was Sean Astin that did his voice.
Maybe I'll have to take the head up to him next month.
Oh yeah. So I thought you'd like that story though, since you do have the head.
Exactly. Those are great because that was such a weird time for TV. But I mean the Robot Chicken was kind of like a big deal. Like that crossed over with took a lot of things that were kind of taboo and worked them all in there. So found out that you sculpted them. I needed to have them since you still had them. So they're in my blue room. The blue room has lots of the prized possessions in there.
Yeah. So you have those, and there are no more of those. So those are some cool history pieces, and not to wax too rhapsodic, but I got my start on Toy Fair, the Twisted Toy Fair Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the predecessor to Robot Chicken, but we had a great loss in that world too, with Pat McCullum passing away recently.
Yeah.
And there probably would not have been a Robot Chicken if it wasn't for, his and the others back in the time, Zach Oat and everything, and their contribution, and Gareb Seamus. So a nod, but it's sad to lose so many people from our past too.
Yeah, but it seems like the more people we know, the more have a chance of passing on. So
yeah, and it's been a rough couple of years for everyone. So
yeah.
just so we don't let anything slip through the cracks, were there any questions that we missed that came through? I know you said we had a couple from Eric Mortensen, I believe. Did we get that?
No, I'm not. Let me see. See if I can pull up. Oh, okay. I just noticed that there was a whole bunch of comments. I didn't see all these comments. Oh, now I just clicked on the right tab. All right. Jeremy Morton. Hey, Custom God. What's going on? Anthony Greco. Tori Robinson. Look at that.
Who is that?
I don't know. Ohio and Trekkie or something.
Hey, Anthony. Tori.
Hello from exotic Ohio. Do I have any advice for someone that wants a tattoo but has never had one? Do your homework as far as what kind of art you like, Jeremy. And then, talk with the artist that you find that you kind of dig, and make sure you're comfortable with them, because there's nothing worse than you can get a good tattoo from a real jerk. But you want that experience to be good, because if you walk away with a bad experience from an artist that just wasn't nice to you or whatnot, even if it's a good tattoo, it's still going to put a bad taste in your mouth. So by all means, and then you can contact me, even if it's not, even if the art that I do is not your style, I can surely recommend somebody in my group that, would be able to handle what you need. So like I said, all our business is based on networking. So between me and Scott and the tattoo artists and the promoters and the guests, it's all just a big networking family.
Yeah.
Yes, Tori, Scott did do an excellent job, and I will not shut my dirty mouth. And then Connie came in. Hey, Connie. George is here. Yeah. See, when you get props from George Joseph on how good your sculpts are, that's saying something, because he is like the master of advertising campaigns and promotional artwork. And he's been doing stuff. He got hooked up with Tops, so now he's doing things with Tops. And then Boris, for a turn-up tattoo on you, I consider doing that pro bono. But totally taking pictures and video of you crying like a little zombie monster.
Yes. Yeah. I think he might be able to. He might be able to handle that one, though. I don't know. He might enjoy it.
A turnip, but it's got to have his little hat on top of the turnip.
Yeah. And the mutton chops. Yeah.
Mutton chop turnip. That's going to be a thing now. John Petrillo joined us from Lakeland, Florida. Brad Edmonds. Where is Brad? I don't even know where you're at anymore. If you moved again, he was on East Jabip side of Tampa, Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another fantastic artist, 3D printing. He does a lot of my Star Wars helmets. He does Battlestar Galactica helmets with the Viper helmet with lights.
And still one of my favorite Dooku's, honestly.
Yeah.
That guy is Dooku.
But phenomenal person in general. He helped me a lot build my full-size R2-D2. His wife does seamstry work. She's doing full-size, to your size Viper jackets from Battlestar and Jedi robes. It's great. I can't get enough of it, and they're so easy to work with.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, okay. So Boris wants a Sonny Bono photo. That's I guess
random.
Doable. So, all right.
Sonny Bono at a pro bono. I get it. You know who else? And I know we'll talk about this off camera, but you know who else is going to be getting their first tattoo? Stella, your buddy.
Stella.
Yeah, and she wanted her daddy to design the actual tattoo, so I did that already. So remind me to hit you up on that and talk to you about that, because we could probably use some advice as well. But that's the personal stuff. But you and I have been friends so long.
We can make that happen.
Yeah. But don't let me forget. That's why I mention it now, because the ADHD, it'll be gone by morning.
Squirrel.
Yes. And we still have our 11 to 2 or 3 show with Boris as the after show after this. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I won't be functional tomorrow.
But if anybody that's watching, if they have, like, if there was anything that kind of sparked their interest as far as, if they needed custom artwork or whatnot, I know Brad's pretty heavy, bogged down with work stuff. George is also, but there's always a chance if it's a fun project, get something made, have something designed.
Right.
And then if anybody has any questions about our products, they can email me. They can find, if it's going to the Ink Fusion Empire Instagram or to the Marc Draven TikTok, or my regular Instagram is Marc Draven, because somebody stole Marc Draven as a TikTok name before I signed on for TikTok, because I don't even know what I'm doing with TikTok yet. But
yes, and you don't have the common spelling, so for it to be with a C, and that's suspicious.
Oh yeah, somebody was being shady right there.
Yep. Yeah,
for sure. But now it's but either which way, if they go to the website and the email through the website, it all comes back to me anyway, so I can answer anybody's questions.
And if you are watching here, because I know we're coming up on the end of our hour, and Boris is anxious to give you his perspective on things, but yeah, we were letting him stand in the box, but since it's so hot out in Florida heat, he came inside. So. Yeah.
Now I just have a bad picture in my head of him dressed up as Oscar the Grouch in a Speedo.
Oh wow, no. That now it's in my head. Thank you.
Look, he put it in the comments. That's fair game. Once it's out there, it's out there.
It's not Oscar the Grouch in the Speedo. Stella wants Oscar the Grouch in the Speedo on the butt cheek.
Oh no, we won't talk about that publicly. She has her interesting ways. Let's just say that.
The W on each cheek, so when she bends over, say, "Wow."
I hope nobody heard that.
I couldn't hear it, but I'm deaf.
Yeah, well, you've saved your ears. So just to recap on social media, we talked about, you have several events coming up, so we definitely want to remind people. C2E2, there was, what was it, the Boston show coming up as well. We've got it all up here now. Emerald City Comic Con and Horror Hound. All of those are great opportunities to check out what Marc Draven does, as well as Ink Fusion, correct? They'll be set up at all these shows as well?
Yeah, and each one of those shows is pretty unique compared to the other ones. Like C2E2 is a real heavy Comic-Con. They do a lot of programming and activations. It's more hands-on with the fan base. Fan Expo is an amazing guest list. I think they got Gina Carano coming in. They've got the Sons of Anarchy. I think all the Hobbits. They've got all 4 Hobbits. So Sean, Billy, Dominic, and Elijah will all be there.
Yeah.
So Sean tested positive for COVID last Saturday night at the show.
Oh,
and he posted a video, and he said every time he gets done a day at the show, he goes back to the hotel room and tests himself. So I'm not giving up any dirt. He made a public announcement on it for the website. So he went as far, so he didn't disappoint fans. He had management take stacks of pictures up to his room and sign them without touching them. And they sprayed the room or whatever, but so he still got to sign. I don't know if he got to sign everybody's stuff, but he signed a lot of people's stuff. And, the video said, he's like, I don't feel sick. He's like, I just tested positive. So I don't know if it was a false positive or whatever the case, but he, just being cautionate, he stayed in the room, but he still tried to make those fans happy. So it was just pretty cool.
That is amazing. Yeah.
So that's Fan Expo he'll be at next. And then we have Emerald City Comic Con, which is Seattle, and it's one of the largest comic book conventions, in the country, with the smallest footprint, as Reed Pop says. It's only, their crowd is only smaller to New York Comic Con, but it's also the smallest building that they have to work out of. So they're actually building a whole new extension or a whole new convention center out there. So they can expand and get more people in and more vendors and whatnot. And then Horror Hound, again, that's we're gonna make something happen there with Monster Manor.
Yeah.
It might not be this September because they're doing construction on that convention center to make it bigger, and it's essentially to make it bigger just for Horror Hound because it brings in so much traffic. Let's say Cincinnati, Ohio, but it's really Sharonville, Ohio, so it's a little bit of a distance away, but still like within the same county. But so just to get more, be able to accommodate with more people and bring more traffic to the restaurants and the local hotels. But fantastic lineup for guests. I think this year they've got Bruce Campbell, Keith David, or is it David Keith?
David Keith, yeah.
I always mix the two of them up.
One of those, yeah. Two first names.
Yeah. So, and then Carrie, I don't know if they announced her, but whatever, she's already announced it. So Carrie Henn, that played Newt from Aliens, is going to be there.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful too. School teacher, isn't she?
Yeah, she's actually a school teacher in California. The only movie she ever did until just a couple years ago was Aliens. She wasn't raised to be an actress. James Cameron was filming right next to an army base, and she's an army brat. And they went in and said, "We need a girl this old," and then she got the job.
She knocked it out of the park, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a fun. It's always one of our more fun shows. Like we don't tend to want to work tattooing on Sundays because we want to go nerd out and be able to see everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
And then we've got others on the horizon. We'll have to come back and visit again in the future because I know that like when you can drop who these other people are that we're adding to the stable, that would be cool for our listeners. I'm sure they would dig that, but no teasers until then.
And then next year, we're already booking into next year's show dates. Star Wars Celebration in London, to the MegaCons and the C2E2s and Horror Hounds and Star Trek Seattle. I know some Trekkies very excited about that. I
am too.
Yeah,
I think that's wonderful. I've got my connections with Star Trek as well, so
come on out.
Yeah,
we can make that happen.
He'll hook me up, man. I'm there.
The only thing that's bad going from Florida to Seattle is flights are expensive.
Yes,
but maybe if we book it ahead of time far enough, then you can get away with a few things. But yeah, we could definitely look into that. So for Star Trek, which heads did you sculpt? You did the Q head?
I did the Q. I did Patrick Stewart that I offered Mego, and they had already had one that was supposedly sculpted, but I have that one, but that was more of a personal one. And then an old age one because I fell in love with the series Picard as well. So those were more personal ones. But for Mego proper, I did the Q.
And so the irony with that is Picard is the film, or for the TV show with Tori had tattooed, but I am completely having a brain fart as far as their names. Evan and the young lady that was the main female lead, like she was the chosen one, or
yeah, I'm bad.
I had pictures. I'd show you pictures, but I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names of the characters. Ides and Evan is what Tori just posted in there.
But thank you, Tori.
Isa and Evan, but fantastic people, super nice. Evan was super, super sweet. I think he just got engaged like today. He just posted a picture, but he follows us on Instagram and he sends me notes once in a while and just says hi and thanks for everything that we did for them at the show, and they were just fantastic.
Awesome.
But yeah, good stuff. So it's weird how everything kind of comes around and it's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but in our universe instead.
Yeah. Very true, man. Well, what's that? Data's daughter and Elnor. Yeah. They were. Yeah, Amber's a big fan, producer lady. She's tittering in the background. Usually she speaks over the bullhorn at Boris, so at least we're not having to get yelled at. But
Nice.
yeah, she's a particular fan of Picard as well. So she and Tori could really gush over all of that too.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
I have one
Yeah.
mandatory
When's she
thing.
coming back into town? We all got to get together again too.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
Yeah.
That'll be fast because then you're back out again, right?
Yeah. Now I think I'm home for the rest of the month in theory.
Yeah.
We're celebrating birthdays. Well, my birthday was in June, but we
Yeah.
never get to spend birthdays together. So we're going to do that this year.
Because your birthday is the same as Amber's.
Amber's. Yeah.
So it's like I can never forget either one of those now.
Except I'm a lot older than she is.
No.
Mm.
Rosie keeps hearing Mark.
Yeah.
She can't.
Rosie, the three-legged wonder dog in Monster Manor, keeps hearing your voice and coming out of her holes to see where
I
you
love
are.
her to death. She's amazing.
Yeah, and she's put on all of her weight again. She's in beautiful shape.
She's looking.
So she's walking around trying to find Mark. So, but
Soon enough.
anyway, I know we are coming up. We're actually over time now, but I'm sure Boris will be in fine mood now. But thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging with us. I had wanted to get you on last season and nothing ever worked out because of timing. But at least we got it done now, and I'm sure we'll do it again.
No, I'm glad to. You know me, I'm always glad to sit down and talk to you, especially if it's nerdy stuff and toy talk. But yeah, better let Boris out of the box.
Yes, yeah, he
And
is
let him use the inside
anxiously, yeah, let him use the inside potty this time instead of the hole in the backyard.
Whatever. You're still trying to get somebody to dress up like Oscar with a thong on, so
Yeah, that'll be the model for the tattoo. But again, thank you so much for coming on, hanging with us, and having a good Saturday night. I do appreciate it, man. You know I love you, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that you've given us as well, man.
No, my pleasure. It's a very good relationship and friendship. So we love you guys too.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again for being on the show.
Sure.
So to our viewers, that was Marc Draven from Ink Fusion Empire, good personal friend of mine. Please check him out on social media. You can see the if you want to put that up one more time before we move on. Yeah, he's on Instagram, Facebook, now
OnlyFans.
TikTok. No only. Well, at least as far as I know, no OnlyFans. But if you're following us here and you're on TikTok, please go over to the Marc Draven on TikTok and give him a follow as well, because I'm sure when he can do lives there, he's going to be very interesting there as well. So he's just learning it now, but definitely give him a follow. And I also want to give a teaser. We were able to confirm today, I don't know what the date yet, but we were able to confirm that none other, big guest announcement, Jack O'Halloran, which if I say that name, you may not know exactly who that is, but we can run some pictures. Jack O'Halloran, who played Non in Superman 1 and 2, and he also played this guy in King Kong, who met a very early demise. I was upset about that, but he is another local resident and friend, and he will be coming on our show. So we're excited to announce that and at least dangle the carrot for you to follow us, like us, and come on back for more. But without further ado, I have to show you my friend. And I say that.
Put the pants up.
My pants are up, sir. These are my light tan jeans. No. But anyway, Boris. So thank you to our sponsor, Pache Airbrush, and I will throw you to the intro for Boris now.
hell did the chair go? He said, all of a sudden we got the big friggin' Johnny Carson.
No, this is gonna be your couch.
No, Boris not stretching out like Elvira, okay? None with the crap like that. And you know when Fence to make talk a lot, and then gabba, he leave his phone behind. So we're gonna
I have to watch the time on that.
we're gonna go. That's what the producer laid there for. But we're gonna go on the thing. Ooh, we're gonna go and get 1, 6, 8, 9. Okay, and then we're gonna go only dwarves. It's only fans, but for tiny people. And we're gonna look up midget snuff films. Not fast to make it. Not fast to make on the watch list.
Run the disc.
Now.
What the thing with the that's the first, ladies and gentlemen. The producer lady arm come out of nowhere, grab stuff.
Oh, she's arming the Tonka.
Go ahead, Boris. With this thing, Boris closer to the collectibles. She missed. Boom.
I can replace that stuff. Do your disclaimer.
All right, disclaimer.
Oh, see, there's already a message on my phone from the legal team that's asking about the disclaimer. Please run the disclaimer.
Please understand, disclaimer. This is what middle season 2, and everything. Whatever come out the fat mouth is this guy's fault. Boris over here. Don't blame Fence to make a producer lady. Any of the rotten kids live in the house, or the 3-legged mutant dog over there. Yeah. Boris make whatever he say. It's Boris thing because
Our attorney Phil is
they give him like the last 15 minutes because Fence to make could have went the whole hour. Well, he did go the whole hour with the buddy man, stroking egos and stuff. And first of all, Mr. Man, Boris not going to cry like a baby when you draw with the needle, the turnip on him. Okay, Boris has been run over by an ox in the old country, so your little needle ain't gonna do crap. Boris living hardship, dribbling here with the sweat of the humidity. Florida sucks, by the way. Florida on the poo list this time. What state has soup for damn atmosphere? Only time you walk out, you dry yourself after the shower, you walk out, you need another damn towel. The hell? Oh, we gotta do the producer lady stuff. One producer lady, the only person to play Russian roulette with a loaded gun and win. Producer lady play rock, paper, scissors against the reflection, and she won again. And the producer lady is the only one. She played a game of marbles using medicine balls.
Oh.
And we're gonna have a bonus one when producer lady go bowling. When she get a strike, all the pins in the alley fall down.
Oh my!
So, are we done?
I think that's all of the.
Okay, boys, we're done because let's to make a talk up. We're gonna be Mr. Draven gonna be August 18th to 21 in Seattle. He's gonna be R2D2.
That's Emerald City Comic Con.
Is you wrote that on the thing. What is read the and then with Seattle NVA. I mean, your penmanship suck. And then he got the appendices. Appendices.
Appearances. Boris.
Well, you appendicitis. We're gonna be with Tiffany at the Lake Square Mall on the 29th with the Tiffany tour.
No. Just talk about your brawl for it all.
What brawl for? Oh no, that it's not brawl for all. See, now you don't read the email. See, Boris is sitting in the. What the hell is going on over there? It's hullabaloo behind the camera over here. He's holding up something. He said, Boris, don't read this when he walk in. And then producer lady going back and forth. The dog go hide somewhere now. Anyway, Boris was sitting in the villages in traffic taking Master, to the Aldi's. He wanted to go pick up little cheese curds. And Boris realized he hates people. A lot of people, mostly people in the cars. And then he figured, well, that can stem to who can Boris beat up in the horror world? Because there's that thing of somebody ask you how many 5-year-olds can you beat up if they come in waves of 10, like how long you last, and then every 5th wave is a 10-year-old with a baseball bat. You never saw that on the internet. Producer lady giving him a look like his pants down. Is the zip open? Can't tell because Boris leaning back like some beach Baron Harkonnen on his damn couch. Anyway, so Boris gonna say, who could they're gonna start easy for the first episode. Boris say, what's the easy one? You know, like who's the easy one? And Boris got the puppets this time too. Boris, this is what happens when you leave the thing unlocked. So this is Chucky. Boris got the Chucky doll, and the Chucky doll probably the easiest thing to beat the ass of in the horror world. Unless you
wasn't it anywhere that was unlocked. You took that out of our kid's bedroom.
Oh, is that it? The hobo baby left it out. Tough. This Boris go home, Boris now. Anyway, this is the easiest doll to kick the crap out of in the whole horror thing. There shouldn't have been like a series of this doll killing people because it's what 3 feet tall and plastic. You can't you hold a knife and you got no grip to it. You just slap the knife out of his hand. So then this is a Boris doll. Boris got this made, tries to make him a little punchy Boris, punchy, both sides with punchy. And this is the fighting Boris. He's left, right, like and Boris, like when he played with this, he had the Rocky training montage.
I'll pull it a little bit.
So like this is kind of like but Boris not shaped like a pencil though. Boris more shaped like a weeble. But anyway, we're gonna fatten this one out. Anyway, here comes the angry Chucky doll, and Boris will be like, "Black," and then knock him down. Now all you got to do now when he's down, he's like a turtle. He doesn't really want to get up because he tried to get up and he screamed, and then Brad Dourif just and so you just stand on him, and then you get somebody bring you duct tape him up, and then whoop in the hole in the backyard, and you bury him, and then you just like tell the neighbors that the screaming is like hobo baby. She mad that she can't go next door to Nana's house, or somebody bought Oreos and she can't have. She really threw a fit over Oreos this week. He's like a 5-year-old one Oreos, and they're like, no, it's great to watch them torture the kids saying she can't have Oreos. But that's all Boris got. It's like 5 seconds, like nothing, because he knew you're gonna go along with Marc Draven.
Well, at least you get to come on Monster Manor and play with yourself. I know that was more like a.
Well, technically, it is shaped a little bit friendly. If somebody were into that stuff, ooh, that's right. Those Boris OnlyFans got the new toy. It's the Boris Intruder.
No.
Like things that the potpourri for 500, Alex. What's the buzzing?
No.
That's the warning that the chocolate is warming up.
No, but look, you're the one shaped like a ding-a-ling-a-ling things.
It's a pen.
And then look, I don't want to go in there, and he's fighting. And meanwhile, you're putting it in there and there's flailing. And
okay.
you know if the arms get stuck, you're in the emergency room. This got to come out with the doctor. And then the doctor like, why'd this thing have a bowler hat on?
Yeah, but Boris, we're gonna
have Boris?
A little conversation before.
What's the Boris? It's not the door is Boris, not Boris. Porky pig. Why are you waving everything off?
We're gonna have to go on with the announcement.
Okay, so he's holding up a thing like the Statue of Liberty.
Hey, you're gonna get us kicked off the air before we're even on there.
All right, so what the God running? This Boris got this 5 minutes of crappy bit.
You said you got nothing else, right?
Boris got nothing.
You realize you have however many hours after this.
That's horse crap. That's horse crap. So live on the TikTok, but on the Monster Manor, we're madder because it's freaking. They're not gonna let Boris talk to John Allen. His ass is gonna be in like freaking Bellevue, and then call him
back in the box in the front yard.
Name no box. You're gonna stand. Boris, go 441. Go to the Popeye parking lot across from the theater in Bellevue, and wait there for our call. And when Mr. Halloran is way off the thing, then you can come and talk, or we're gonna tape you first. Because the man famous for punching Superman in the nose and lighting the stick on fire. But the man was nice. And I don't believe that Dragnet movie. Tom Hanks could not stick the man's yabbis in the drawer because that man like 6'6" in the boxer. He punched Tom Hanks in his face. All Tom Hanks did was go crazy in Mazes and Monsters. This is another thing. If you want to see Tom Hanks go totally bizarre, watch Mazes and Monsters. This is before he's like a drag queen in Bosom Buddies. It's about like the D&D. It's got the kids from My Bodyguard in it and like other people, but it ends on the World Trade Center. It's really weird. What the hell is that? Do you think he's coming now at the Boris over here?
I just want to make sure I wrote small on the cue card.
Okay, so we're going to our appearances. Yeah, we got to say Phantasm, of course. We're contractually obligated. August 1924. We'll be there. Just find us among the boobies and other stuff that they got there. 3 zombies, the boobies, and a guy named Carl. He's going to be in the corner signing autographs.
How about we announce that Tyler Mane is going to be there?
Tyler Mane, he was
Eugene Clark. Those are good guys.
But Boris has no problem with Tyler Mane and Eugene Clark. Boris going to do his movie The Creeps, by the way, and then he's going to host the Chakra Cinema, and then he's going to go in the bathroom, and we're going to play Who Can Spit in the Urinal for 5 feet and don't eat the cake. We're going to find the dumb cosplayers that don't eat the urinal cake and see which one does. What? Because you know there's going to be one idiot that's going to like lemon.
Hit the button.
The board is going to take things that fit in the butt for $2.50.
You haven't been
We
drinking.
do not condone eating urinal cakes.
No, this is dangerous.
That's right. You heard this, United States Marine Corps. No urinal cakes, no matter how spicy. Okay.
What else we got coming up for us?
We got the Halloween Family Fun event. It's not on Halloween, though, but it's October 29th at the Lake Square Mall. That's going to be fitting the restoration of graves in the Veteran Cemetery. So that's a good event because a lot of the graves, as they get older, it's like a slab. They're not really big. You ever see graves in the vet cemetery? They're about this big. They're not wide, and what happens is erosion of the soil and mold grow on them and stuff. So what they do is they go clean up all the graves from like World War I, World War II. So that's nice. Go there. If you don't, you douche. The board is going to take cuss words for $900, Alex. So your backyard superstore is gracious enough to sponsor this. So go to the backyard superstore and buy things from them. Boris doesn't know exactly what they got, but it's for the backyard.
Jacuzzis and swimming pools.
So they got the jacuzzis for the.
No, like a hot tub.
Oh, so the hot tub you can marinate in yourself. That's really good. And people soup, make butt bouillon and other stuff. But the man is nice. Boris know him. He's a very large man and he's very friendly. But you want to buy something from him, make him happy, and clean the grave. And then when you come, you can see the Halloween event. Like Boris gonna dress like Producer Lady, look very angry and throw shoes at people. And then we got
to see the bun.
Boris got he gonna wrap up turnip in hair that he pick up at the shower from when the Stella come out the bathroom. What you pointing at the computer for?
Nothing. Someone else didn't get the email either.
Oh, look at that. Graphics.
We have graphics.
We've got graphics.
We have tickers. We have a lot of stuff.
Why is BB-8 there?
There's going to be droid racing.
That's racist to the droids. We're using droids to race. Anyway, we're gonna go is it Krampus Con is spelled with a K?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Krampus Con 12. Is it December 12th? Okay, you got 12,24. So Krampus Con 12, 2 to 4 at Cocoa Beach. Okay, Krampus Con December 12th. December 2nd to 4th. Listen, you're the one who writes crappy notes, okay? Everything's fine for you with the Marc Draven appearances, but no, you get down to the friggin' Boris crap. Krampus Con 1224 ... Cocoa Beach at ampersand ... hashtag butt cheek, something like that, whatever. So you will go to Krampus Con. Krampus is the guy that beat your ass if you're bad. As a kid, he don't give you nothing like Santa Claus. He come over, throw you in the bag, hit you with sticks. Really, you read up on Krampus. Not that crappy movie, but I mean the Krampus thing. What you pointing at? What you done? Because as you doing that, the whole thing, Boris trying to read the cue card, and the cue card is like we in a friggin' age 5 hurricane. You waving it like a damn you in the friggin' Boys to Men concert over here. Woo, I love you, Niall, or whatever the hell his name is.
I'm pretty sure that's
nice.
Oh, there go the buzzer. Boris say what he damn well please now. Okay. Starting with what we got. All right, but anyway, International Palms Resort at Cocoa Beach, December 2nd to 4th. He's going to be a nice place. Put it down even farther. You're going to block the camera. There it goes. Professional, ladies and gentlemen. Professional. This is one talking about taking this to Roku. we only Roku we're going to get is right after the Unclog the Toilet channel. Or the Hernia channel. Why you... You're gonna knock the lights out. This man had something in his drink. He's dangerous.
I'm bringing the card to your eye line.
Boris not eye line, not up here, and Boris not freaking blind. Any closer is going to butt Boris's freaking sphincter over here. And not only that, you're waving it so Boris can't read it.
Gonna get motion sickness.
But Christ, man, he got the Mark Draven, kiss Mark Draven's ass, put that thing solid on the floor, and then you're going to on Thursday, and then you're going to R2D2's freaking cousin's house on Friday, and then they talk about the robot chicken heads and stuff.
Because they're besties. They're both part of the old white hairdo club.
That's right, the old man club. And then the Boris doesn't even have nothing against Mr. Draven, and Draven called Boris weeping. You go, tattoo gonna hurt you. What Boris ever do to you, man? Nothing. Done. Whose coffee is this? Knock it off the.
It can be yours if you need a drink.
If you are parched. Otherwise, say bye, Boris.
Who's this?
And tell them to join you on TikTok for your.
Yeah, go to TikTok after about 11 o'clock.
There.
11 o'clock, the TikTok Boris gonna do live. Probably have to do goddamn match game again.
TikTok with Boris.
Folgers. Anyway,
We do not buy Folgers.
No.
You blaspheming. I'm gonna say what Tori said. You shut your filthy mouth.
it's not okay. It's not Folgers.
Okay, say bye, Boris.
It's Nescafe. Bye, Boris.
You have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
Oh, that's great. That's good. Boris gonna redo his contract with these people. God damn it.
Hey, Monster Kids, thanks for hanging out for another episode of Monster Manor. Do us a favor, though, and hit the bell to get reminders of when we add new content. Subscribe to our channel, and while you're waiting for new shows, check out our website at www.monstermanor1313.com. New content at least every other week, sometimes even more often. Like and follow our Facebook page as well for other content. And lastly, if you want to help us out, check out our Patreon under Monster Manor with Scott Fenster. Thanks for hanging out until the end.